Hi, welcome to one more episode of Zindagi Ka Safar. And when you're looking at Zindagi Ka Safar, uh, shy people like me have a problem. So I find it very difficult to meet people and otherwise. And when the other person also is shy, then you find it even more difficult to interact. So once one of my friend is joining, Manisha is joining all the way from New Jersey, and I had gone to US around 4 years back, and someone told me she also stays in New Jersey, another friend of mine. And I was very reluctant because I never spoken to her. I said, should I call her, not call her, and otherwise. And then we spoke on the phone, and I think maybe two introvert people found comfort in each other, and we spoke quite a lot. And later I said, "Arey yaar, tum aa jaya karo," because we are part of the same group which is there. And what you see behind is she decided to come over to one of the get together, and I think this happened at Pinch. We had a couple of days with our friends who were there. Um, and I found it very difficult because if you can see, I'm there in the behind and got surrounded by all the girls who were there. And a shy person like me finding it very difficult. So we'll just figure out whether Manisha is going to overcome her shyness and going to be talking about her Zindagi Ka Safar. So Manisha, welcome to this episode of Zindagi Ka Safar. It's such wonderful that you have taken time out to be on our podcast. So tell us a little bit about your growing up. About your school, college, and how did you start your career?
Hi, Tuhin. Thank you for having me. And yeah, right. Such a great description that you are an introvert and I am an introvert. Perfect. Yes. um, yeah. So growing up, my whole world was Nagpur growing up. Went to, smaller convent schools in KG1, KG2,
Hmm.
my convent and Bhartiya convent. I used to stay in the old Nagpur Mahal area.
Uh-huh.
And then from first grade, I joined Tata Percy, Jain Tata Percy Girls High School.
Hmm.
And that was it. School went on smoothly. That, like I said, that was the only world for me. And all my relatives, everybody, all friends, everyone was in Nagpur. So never thought anything beyond that.
Okay.
After school, like I said, percentage thoda acha mila, so went into Shivaji Science.
Hmm.
And I always wanted to go for medical line,
Okay.
um, but somehow landed up in engineering.
Okay.
It was actually PCM or PCB, dono same percentage tha.
Okay.
But in engineering, I was getting outside, Karad, Nanded. But
Hmm.
my mom was like, no, she's not going outside. So yeah, and I had almost taken admission to BSc,
Oh.
Institute of Science, mein.
Hmm.
And my dad and my mom both are in admin, but dad used to work in Nagpur University.
Hmm.
And although he was right there in chemistry department at that time,
Hmm.
we had no idea about LIT
Okay.
right there next door. So dad's HOD actually, Munshi sir, he asked, "Ke Bhalekar, kaisa number kaisa aaya beti ka?" And he
Huh.
said, "तो अपना LIT बाजू में इधर डालो." तब तक हम लोग को इतना कुछ आइडिया नहीं था. तो it just happened, whatever the flow was. And then I got into chemical engineering. वो हुआ उसके बाद I think campus में we were like a batch of 16 girls. That was
Hmm.
like a record.
Wow.
Earlier batches it was only 3 or 4 or like like that.
Okay.
तो उसके बाद आई थिंक कैंपस में भी एक दो इसमें पास हुए लेकिन फाइनल इसमें नहीं हुआ.
Hmm.
एंड देन आई वाज लाइक ओके, तो मम्मी का तो चालू हो गया था कि नहीं अभी शादी कर देते हैं, शादी कर देते हैं.
Uh,
देन आई गॉट इनटू मास्टर्स वहीं पे एलआईटी में.
oh, lovely.
तो पापा सपोर्टेड मी अ लॉट. ही वाज लाइक ओके, लेट हर स्टडी,
Hmm.
देखते हैं तब तक ऐसा. And then as I got into masters, masters was pretty cool. I think I had the most fun while doing my masters.
Wow.
बहुत
Hmm.
कम classes होते थे और टाइम पास ज्यादा. एंड कभी कैंटीन में जब एंटर नहीं किया था बैचलर्स में, तो मास्टर्स में वी यूज्ड टू बी इन द कैंटीन सो ऑफन.
Wow.
And there a little bit of turn because one of my professors
Hmm.
introduced me to, like, there was a Litosa seminar, LIT Old Students Association.
Okay.
So we were ऐसे खाली पीली बैठे थे, तो our professor gave us the job. You have to, like, sign in attendees, ये वो सब. And there he actually introduced me to one of our Letosa member, I don't know if he's a doctor, but Mr. Munge karke the. He was in HOCL Rasaini, and he had left that job and he started a small consultancy in Nagpur.
Okay.
So he actually needed some help with literature survey and all that stuff. So that's how he asked me if I can do that, because I was anyway in the library a lot of times. So I did that and he was happy with it. So he actually offered me a part-time job over there.
Oh.
So I started doing, so I was doing my master's and I was doing a part-time job at Schematics karke consultancy site. It was right opposite Sai Mandir on Wardha Road. So that's how I started my detail engineering career. And then from that, after doing my master's in campus interview, I got into J.N. Marshall. So वो Pune में था, तो my mom was again like, नहीं बाहर नहीं भेजना है. And how my dad was this thing, he said, you know, the degree that she has earned, it's either Mumbai, Pune, Gujarat, you know, अपने वहाँ पे industry नहीं था कुछ ज़्यादा. So then I landed up in Pune. Pune mein actually we had some distant relatives, my dad's second cousin वगैरह. So somehow my mom agreed कि ठीक है चलो. So that's how I landed up in Pune. And then Pune mein went through that. फिर वहाँ पे ही थे तभी already शादी का तो ये चालू हो गया था. Then I got married, moved to Mumbai. And Pune again, that 1 year was really carefree days. You were earning, you were just going out, having fun, you know. After that, I moved to Mumbai. And I got a transfer in, so I was working in business development at that time. It was application-oriented marketing. Yeah. So there was a lot of travel. So even in Pune, like, you know, I used to travel to smaller, this thing, like I had sugar industry and man-made fiber. So went to a lot of industries and, you know, application of J&M products, which was steam engineering and control instruments in those industries. So then Shadi ke baad, I got a transfer, but that office was in Kala Ghoda.
Okay.
Fountain वहाँ पे. So the travel was just killing. तो Mumbai का life I was just adjusting to. We used to go, I think morning में something around 8 o'clock वो lady special होता था. Go and then come back रात को 8 बजे फिर से. And then in between also I had to travel. So it wasn't really working out. In the sense it was too tiring. And you know, my in-laws also wanted me to get a little, you know, thoda design engineering 9 to 5 kind of desk job and all. So then I got pregnant. So got into teaching. My father-in-law was a teacher and he always wanted somebody in the family to be into teaching. So I taught at Shah and Anchor Kachchi Polytechnic, Chembur mein, for 1 year. Yeah, one session I taught over there, chemical technology. And yeah, and then my daughter was born. Uske baad, I didn't want to, like, I liked teaching, but I didn't want to make it as a profession. So then I wanted to get back into design. So thoda that was a little tough because tab tak pura ud gaya tha sab jo bhi tha. Because marketing and, you know, फिर I got into Vidya Vihar में एक छोटा सा, they had a PVC FRP line vessels manufacturing this thing unit. And they wanted, like, they used to get design from bigger consultants and there was an in-house check. So I started over there. I started with that and then did that for some time. One thing was good that the office was in Vidya Vihar, but their plant was in Thane. So I could travel back to Thane and it was a little closer to Dombili. We used to stay in Dombili at that time. So wo ho gaya. Uske baad, I got into another design firm. And life comes in full circle. You'll not believe. That was Spexim Engineering karke tha. And I found my own, what I did in schematics, which was in Nagpur, the detail engineering, the bill of material and all that, those papers. So it was, I think, DMCC ka sulfuric acid plant tha. So Spexim had taken their work and
Okay.
Spexing had downloaded it to schematics. तो मेरा खुद का papers मेरे को वहाँ पे मिला काम किया हुआ. So that was good. And those, they were actually 3 retired BARC people who had started that, and wonderful people. They, Ravija was really, really small that time. And you know how we had a nanny, but always nanny ka problem and all. तो कभी छुट्टी लेना है, ये करना है. So they were really wonderful and helpful people. So that was nice. And then after that, I got into Dalal Consultants. So मैं ऐसा हर साल मतलब वो जॉब ही चेंज चालू था. तो कभी छुट्टी, या कभी छुट्टी एक्यूमुलेट ही नहीं होता था.
नहीं हुआ.
And then then Dalal Consultants again, I got into the Thane office, so that was good. And again, wonderful co-workers. It was so much fun. We had real fun in those 4 years. Lot of work also, got to learn a lot of things. और फिर उसके बाद I went into उसके बाद KPG. So that was a bigger one. That was again to Kalina. तो वो थोड़ा एक I was there with Dalal for 4 years, and then I was like, okay, ये पास में है. But I think they were talking of closing down the Thane office and moving everything to Bandra and stuff. So then I joined the Kalina KPG, the day orgas at that time. And that's where again.
Mumbai mein where used to be staying?
Dombivli.
Dombivli, okay.
So it was
so
a
everything
suburb.
was little far off.
Very far off. Yeah. And
all
plus
the places you worked has been quite far off. Yeah.
Yes. So Thane was the the most closest one.
Yeah.
So इसीलिए while leaving Dalal Consultants, I was a little hesitant, but then there were rumors that they are going to close down that office and all. So then I jumped into DVP, and that was much bigger than Dalal, of course. Okay. So there I got to work with a lot of multinationals. So there were different, KPT from UK, and there was Australia and Malaysia. The project was from Malaysia, BSF. So a lot of good experience over there. And around that time only, my husband was actually trying for a change. He was there with a small company, but he never thought of changing and all. But due to some issue, actually, I could have ended up in Bangalore because he was looking at Bangalore, Siemens, and those kind of this thing. And it just so we were not very we just went with the flow. He was my mother-in-law was sick, around 2000, and she was in the hospital. So Vishram used to take a lot of time off and be with her. And one of those sittings, he actually saw a position where he thought it could do justice to all his skills, and he just applied. It was Times Abroad or something like that. And he applied, and it so happened that the manager was in India at that time. So yeah. So he had a phone call interview, and I think he met him briefly in Mumbai. And then the guy was, of course, traveling to Bangalore. And he said, okay, once I get back to US, I will look at it. I'll talk to my colleagues. And then that's how it happened. And then when he came back, Vishram had a Skype interview, raat ko 11 baje, for 2 hours. Yeah. And then they were not into, we were not into IT. So it was a little, fumbling, finding out what they had never done a H1 for anybody or things like that. So then they figured it out, and they did all the process and everything. And then September 11 happened. So it was like we were kind of clueless where we are going, what we're doing. I had not quit my job at that time. I was still working, but I had the opportunity to go to UK because, KPT was in UK, and they had and then Vishram ka ye side by side chal raha tha, so it was difficult. But then somehow just after he came here in October 2011, so it was really, really tough for him. And we had no friends, or tabhi we were not even that tech savvy. Google itna nahi pata tha tab tak. So much bhi idea nahi tha how the life is here. We didn't have friends, family. So it was like, he would be like, oh, okay. And it took him a long time because it was, that time it was really tough security and everything. So it took him almost 3-4 months to get his social security and all, and he couldn't do anything without that. And I was like, I used to be like, what do you mean to like apne yahan to niche utar ke sabzi milti hai? What do you mean? He would even the nearest the strip mall would be like 30-40 minutes of walking, or thand mein kahan pe he'll walk. October mein aaya tha. But I had no clue. I was like, what do you mean nahi mil rahi hai sabzi? Jaake leke aana. So it was real funny. But yeah, somehow फिर
So when
then
he
once
came,
we settled in a little bit.
he moved into New Jersey, or he moved into some other city? New
No,
Jersey
New
only.
Jersey only.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we've been in New Jersey all the time, and almost same area. So Plainsboro, that's where we moved in. He moved in, I mean, and then once he settled, then 2002 we decided to join him. So I quit my job. I had an option, but we were not sure. They had given me an option like 1 year I can take a sabbatical and come back. But कुछ भी पता नहीं था तभी तो then 2002 we moved here, me and my daughter, and initially though it was all hunky-dory, very nice. We came in summer, so yeah, going out and doing things. So it was fun. And then getting adjusted. I didn't know anything over here, no friends. So I was the one who made friends, the introvert person. But yeah, and life was good. 1 year went, and I had, never had a chance to like sit back home and, relax. So this was good. 1 year I had a real nice time, and, bonding with my daughter, because I was never available when I was in Mumbai, just traveling. I was always the one who was traveling the farthest. So I used to leave early, come back late. Vishram used to be there a lot of times because his office was in Bhandup, and they had a factory in Dombeli. So he used to, come back and make sure that he's there. But so after coming here, it was 1 year, like I said, went by just breezy. It's too many new things to get in. Then from second year, I was like, okay, I'll start looking for a job now. But tabhi, I don't know, call it naive or stupid. I didn't have any idea that it'll be tough, because by that time, I think it had started slowing down, and it takes long time. So his company had already started the processing, but it was just taking long. So second year, I was just like, testing the waters, just applying, seeing. Then second year ke baad, I used to do a lot of volunteer. That was one thing which this country taught me. I used to do a lot of volunteering at school, and that way I got to know the school system also. In fact, I still remember there was a girl from Bangalore. She was in income tax, and I met her in school because we had one car at that time, and Vishram used to take the car to work, and then I had to just walk to school, and it was like a good 40-45 minutes walk, although it's close by. So I used to go there, and that's where I met her. And she had taken a sabbatical for 1 year because her husband had come on green card. So her husband used to travel to New York, so she had the car to herself. And then once we met, we started going, because she was also never used to sitting at home. So we started going, and luckily that year the school, there was a town center school which had opened that year itself. So we had the job of stamping all the books with the we used to do it so religiously. Every single day she used to give me a ride, and then both of us used to go to the library and do all the stamping. And I learned a lot of, like, lamination. Apne yahan pe, we used to give it to the office boy to do all those things, copying and all those things. And a lot of things I learned. And then volunteering with the Scholastic Book Fair, then the Mother's Day flower sale. So a lot of things I got to learn over there. And then I used to do a lot of volunteer work with Girl Scouts. We had a wonderful leader. I never became the lead this thing because I didn't have a car. So you have to, make. Okay. But I was always helping out. So that's one thing I learned a lot over here with volunteering. Then I also used to go to the local library and do shelving. There's, a code over there. You just have to take it back. And it's so seamless. You just go in, you sign into the volunteer register, and there's a cart always, everything is easy. So you just go and do the shelving and all that stuff. So it was really nice. And in case you need some time, like, you need your volunteer work credit or something for some job, they would give you that. I think if you do 20, 30 hours or something, they would give you a certificate that. So it was really nice. So then those 2-3 years was a little struggle because I got a little frustrated. I was on H4 and so I was just that. I think those 2-3 years I learned a lot of cooking. Yeah. And cooking and cleaning, that, like, all the homely stuff was my thing then. Then after we got our EAD, I actually started as the day I got my EAD, I got a call from because I was applying, but I wasn't getting called because they need a work permit, and so there was a small lab in Plainsboro itself. I started, they had a technician role. So I said, okay, whatever, I just don't want to sit at home now. So I started as a technician actually. And prior to that, in 2005, actually, one of the consultancies here had reached out to me.
Okay.
And they said, okay, they interviewed me and all. So it was almost like a body shop, like, they were going to place me with one of their clients. And so I had the client interview and everything went well, and I got the offer. So they said, we'll sponsor you. So they had applied my H1 ka this thing, but तभी तक वो H1 का numbers कम हो गया था. From 120,000 or 130,000, it had come to 65,000 or something. And it was a lucky this thing, like, so I wasn't that lucky. They applied, but I wasn't selected. So I had the offer in my hand, but couldn't join.
Okay.
So once I joined this technician job, it was lab mein, like, do all the testing and all that. I just reached out to them. It had been almost a year because I got this job in 2006. So I said, let me take a chance. I just reached out to them, and they said, okay, they are still interested. So if you have a work permit, तो वो 3 हफ्ते ही किया सिर्फ job, और फिर then I joined Ambitech करके एक consultancy था. So they are big in Chicago area, and they were starting in Northeast. So then we had a small office here. So started there. I was doing safety valve design and stuff like that over there.
Wow.
So that was good. I did that for almost a year, but then again, that company was, the way they had thought, that many projects didn't come through. So it was little, they were like hiring people, firing people, it went on. So yeah, so I also got this thing, and I was like, that was like end of the world for me. Had never like, been fired or anything. But thoda inclination tha, so I had given 1 or 2 other interviews. So then I had Jacobs ke through, again, I was placed so it was the same client, this refinery. Jacobs was also catering to, and that's where I got placed again.
Okay.
So yeah, and then I started, I never actually went to Jacobs. I just went for the first half an hour to sign, and then all my tenure I was in the refinery. So I started with small projects group over there, doing process engineering, again safety valves, and then I moved to reliability, but I was still a contractor over there. So I worked as a contractor for 8 years in that refinery. And finally I became an employee. It's been 6 years now. I'm an employee over there.
Okay.
So
that's
lot
lovely.
of different
So what exactly do you do there? In this
right
present
now,
job?
role, so I've moved from, correct. I moved from process engineering to projects engineering to planning and economics optimization. And now my current role is reliability engineering. So what we do is it's asset performance management. We do like take a particular equipment, and then it's almost like a PHA, how you do for process hazard analysis. You do it for the equipment, where you do, if this fails or if this is not available, what's the safety consequence and environmental consequence, and what's the LPO, what's the maintenance cost? Is it going to be a unit shutdown? Is it going to be just part of the shutdown? So all of those things. So it's a team effort. I get together, and we have this new software called APM, Asset Performance Management. So we are developing that. So we've identified the risk, and then we do the strategies to mitigate those risks. Wow. So simple, which most of the things are already there, but we are actually putting it together as this thing, and then whether does it justify to have a spare, because sometimes due to the budget constraints, uh, the capital projects would say, oh, no, it's not required. But then you show them that this is what is going to happen with that. So you need the spare. And then that's how it gets into the, so yeah. APM is what right now I'm doing, reliability engineering. That's
okay. That's wonderful, because I think it has been such a wonderful journey, and you worked with so many different organizations, which shows that you can adapt very well, learn new stuff. And you said you learned so many new things, cooking included. And I
absolutely.
can say you are a very good cook, because I have been fortunate enough to have food at your place.
Okay,
Though,
let's not talk about it,
yeah,
Tuhin.
though I remember vaguely that it was not you but your hubby who had actually cooked it. But chalega, matlab, I will assume my friend
Only the
cooked it.
sambar. I made the idli. It was a weekday and I had just come back from work. And like you said, I'm from Nagpur, so I was used to what you said, कि अपन किसी के यहाँ भी चले जाते हैं, मिल लेते हैं. But then there were so many changes in my life. Went to Pune, Mumbai, और फिर वो थोड़ा यहाँ आके, I was like, okay, I know you. I mean, all I knew, only I knew Rutuja and Neeta and few other people. बाकी तो कोई
Okay.
भी पता नहीं था मेरे को.
So that does
But
not mean that just because you don't know me, you are not going to be giving me good food. मतलब I'm coming
गुड
and you're
फूड
just giving
दिया
me
था
idli
ना
and
भैया.
sambar. मतलब ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है. मतलब
ठीक है,
मतलब
अभी अगली बार आ जाओ. फीस्ट
I know
फीस्ट
when
फीस्ट.
when a guest come,
एकदम
you have to
मराठी,
say,
पक्का
I
मराठी
know.
खाना.
हाँ. एंड मुझे तो ऐसा लगा था, मतलब आफ्टर मीटिंग यू, कि भाई तुमको आता ही नहीं खाना बनाना. तो मैंने ठीक है यार, अब हबी ने जो बनाया खा लेते हो वगैरह, व्हिच वाज एनीवे नाइस. Okay, so what we'll do is, on that particular note, we are going to be taking a very small break, and we'll just take the
Okay.
break at this particular point in time. Okay, welcome back after this very short break. Yeah, and now we are going to be moving to more fun element which is there, and we are going to be checking out whether how much Manisha can handle stress. So we are going to have Ask Me Anything or AMA as a round. Yeah, so we are going to ask a very difficult questions which are there. So let's
Oh my
start with the
God.
first
Okay.
one. Yes, let's start with the first one. So what is the weirdest thing which you have ever done, which maybe not many people are aware of, either your parents or teachers, or something very crazy stuff you would have done without telling anyone?
Not during school days. Nothing. I was a very
Okay.
good student. Very.
Wow.
I always wanted to be in the good books of teachers, so never did any masti. Nothing. Um, I think maybe kabhi like kam number aaye ho to, we used to get paper to take home, and then you had to take your parents' signature on it.
Ah,
तो
okay.
तभी maybe कभी छुपाया होगा मम्मी से.
Okay.
That's the only thing I remember.
Okay.
But weirdest thing, I think I did it like when I was in my Gen Marshal days. We took like rides from random people. It was on the old Bombay Pune road. That
Okay.
was more fun. It was more freedom. We did a lot of things. I had a group over there. We used to
Hmm.
go out and watch movies, take rides. We used to do things like hostel में थे तभी
हाँ,
working women's hostel में. तो पैसे एक बजट होता था जितना सैलरी मिल रहा है,
I know.
तो विल टेक अ रिक्शा, शेयर रिक्शा. और फिर वो 5 रुपए के बाद कुछ मीटर चालू हो जाता था. तो
अच्छा.
5 जैसे ही होता है, हम लोग रुको 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 भैया रुको. And then we used to just get down over there, walk to the bus stop, and do like crazy stuff over there. So
Yeah, so those are very
yeah,
nostalgic memories which are there. Yeah. So
absolutely.
now we need to figure out uh, from that naughty Manisha, to what is the worst and the best thing about being a lady.
Cooking.
Cooking is the worst thing or best thing? Which one is it?
I don't know. So
uh,
yeah, earlier I didn't like cooking at all.
uh,
I used to suck at it. But I think I'm getting better now. I
yeah.
am trying different things and I'm getting better. So I kind of little bit enjoy doing it at home now. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, becoming that thoda घरेलू types अभी.
So if you're organizing a dinner party, what will you then put into that thing? क्या रहेगा मेन्यू में बताओ?
पूरी, बटाटा का भाजी, सूकी भाजी,
Okay.
श्रीखंड,
Wow. Srikhand will make
काकड़ी
yourself?
का कोशिम्बीर चटनी.
Srikhand,
Yes, I do.
क्या बात कर रहे हो? Wow.
I have done that most
अच्छा,
of the times.
good.
Abhi, agar if the function is coming on a weekday, then you get the ready-made ones. But I
Definitely.
have done that here. Yes,
Okay, good.
like chakka ban ke pura
Wow.
wo sab kiya hai.
No, because it's
Yeah.
a long process. That's why I said it's a difficult process to be done. Okay. So
Right,
Srikhand और
right.
क्या
पर
बोल
जब
रहे हैं? What else?
पूरी, बटाटा भाजी, काकड़ी
हाँ.
की कोशिम्बीर,
Wow.
ग्रीन मिर्ची का चटनी,
Oh.
simple varan bhat. That's just chawal and yellow dal,
हाँ.
kadhi.
No,
So
that's
simple
a, I think,
Maharashtrian meal.
yeah, it nearly became a 7 course meal in a way. So
वही अभी महाराष्ट्रियन मील हम लोग का मतलब जो भी फेस्टिवल इसमें ये बेसिक तो होता ही है इतना
पता ही है,
तो
yeah.
या
Because I think among this puris will be little time consuming. मतलब uh, you have to be there,
करेक्ट,
fry karo and that kind
राइट.
of thing.
नहीं,
Stand
सभी
and
कुछ टाइम कंज्यूमिंग है मेरे लिए तो, लेकिन आई डू इट नाउअडेज, लाइक आई सेड, यू नो, इट ऑल डिपेंड्स ऑन टाइम. इफ इट इज अ वर्क डे,
yeah.
देन इट्स जस्ट बिकॉज आई स्टार्ट एट 5:30 in the morning. By
Oh,
the time I come, it's again 5 o'clock.
oh.
So you know, my drive is 1 hour almost. So it's difficult on weekdays for me, but Saturday, Sunday, or thoda pre-prep. Abhi to Ravija also helps me a lot. My husband helps me a lot. So then it's easier
Correct.
getting it out. But weekdays may it becomes like no energy after I come to do things.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one will be if you ever could meet and spend one day with any person who ever lived.
There's actually would be a lot of people I admire. One of them will be Mrs. Indira Gandhi. You know, there's a author I love. I love Nicholas Sparks. I have read most of his books, and so there's a lot of people. One is Jay Shetty's wife, Radhi Devlukia Shetty. So there are a lot of people I admire. I would really love to spend some time with them and understand them. Yeah.
That's
It's all different. Yeah. A lot of different fields and different people.
people.
But
Well.
these are some of the people I really admire.
No, and that gives us a very good understanding about your interest, about a variety of interests which you have, and I think it's a very good choice of the people whom you spoke about. Yeah. Okay, one last thing, which is little bit something to do with your relaxing. So whenever you people are able to go on a vacation, any memorable vacation, and maybe something in your bucket list which you might have, you want to go out with your family, or a recommendation for any of us.
We've taken some vacations. One of the places I visited here, right here in US, was New Hampshire, and
Mm-hmm.
I loved that place. It was, I think we went in one of the fall time,
Okay.
and what you call crisp, clean air. That's what you get to, you know.
Wow.
वहाँ पे बिल्कुल महसूस होता है. You can literally feel the crispness in that air, and it was wonderful. It was so relaxing. You know, that what you call एकदम अच्छा वाला ठंड रहता है ना, that kind of cold it was. It
Okay.
was really beautiful and very, very soothing and relaxing. Places I want to visit Prague.
Lovely place.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of places on my bucket list. But abhi ye 2 saal se to, and lot of places in India too. I had never, when I was in India, you know, we never actually went. But यहाँ आने के बाद, and you know, when my daughter actually started asking me, "You've never visited Taj Mahal?" I said no. So that's when, you know, after she was in high school, I think we started taking when we started our trips to India. We used to try to squeeze in 2-3 days to visit places in India. So that's how I did, that whole Golden Belt, Amritsar, and a lot of places in India. We try whenever we come to India to at least one place in India as well.
No,
And
I think
that's wonderful. Like
that's wonderful because all of them has got a very very different vibe about the place. Up north is very different because people will say, "यार मतलब ठीक है, मतलब क्या अलग रहेगा वगैरह and all." But it's when you go there, you figure out it's very very different. So,
right, and you rightly said it. Every place has a different vibe, and it's just wonderful to visit it. Traveling is one of the things I love. So it's uh, every place you go has something to offer, something very unique, and it's really good.
this is one question which I think I had asked you guys, and I also know the answer. So once you guys will be retiring, so is it going to be USA or you guys might plan to come back to India?
Like I said, we've just gone with the flow. कुछ भी सोचा नहीं है, कुछ भी. अभी looking at the things, the way things are right now, looks like यहाँ पे तो US में तो 67 तक you have to work, right? अभी social security 67 तक. So my husband तो plans to work for a longer time. I don't know. I think I am kind of ready for retirement. I want to take it a little slow. But we haven't decided anything, whatever comes our way.
Okay, thanks a lot, Manisha. I think it was such a wonderful discussion which we had, and for you being so frank and so detailed about your journey, um, so many different places which you have worked and you have excelled in all of them, and moving to a different, as you rightly said, growing up in a small city like Nagpur and then Mumbai itself, you spend a lot of time, which is altogether a different kind of gameship which you require to be surviving in a place like Mumbai, and then moving to
Right.
USA where you have to do everything on your own. You have been doing wonderfully
Right.
well, and it's such a motivational uh, life story which you have about adjusting at different places. Always with a smile, and you are making things look so simple. And I assume it won't have been so easy and simple as you made out to be. But I think it was such a pleasure talking to you, and definitely looking forward to having some of those cuisine which you just spoke about. Matlab, I still can't believe that.
आ जाओ, आ
I
जाओ.
know.
No, really, just take life the way it comes, take it in your stride, and it's been a wonderful journey.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Take care, Tuhin.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.